Hello again, guys. A company called Poweradd reached out to me recently and asked if I'd be interested in taking a look at any of their products, mainly batteries, things like that. The company name sounded familiar, and it wasn't until after this showed up. This is the Smile 5000 milliamp hour battery. But still, once this showed up, I realized I actually already own a Poweradd battery. I bought one on Amazon sometime last year, I think. This is the Poweradd 7200 milliamp hour battery, but it's a solar powered battery. So basically you stick this out in the sunlight and it charges itself using, the sun. I don't know, can't really put it much more complicated than that, but it does have one charging port on it. You charge it by USB or via the solar panel. I did test this out. As you see there, it's really low right now. I stuck it out in the sun. It's been a while back that I actually used it last, but I think it was an hour and a half, something like that, and it had charged, over halfway up just using solar power. The problem with that is you have to actually sit it outside. It can't be sitting in a window or anything like that. But if you were to go backpacking or something, hook this on a little carabiner on your backpack, let it charge all day, and then you've got power all night, and you're good to go. 7200 milliamp hours is definitely enough to charge a phone or a tablet a decent amount of times, and the output here is 1 amp. So yeah, but anyway, this video is not about this device. I just wanted to kind of bring it up because it is another one that I do have familiarity with, and it has been a very good, useful product. I just haven't had much use for the solar capability of it because I haven't been out camping or anything. But anyway, let's take a look at this one. This one I thought was fun and unique because, as you can see, it has some pictures on the front. This is what it looks like when it's fully charged. This is when it is down somewhat, and this is when it's almost empty. I think it shows on the inside. We'll take a look and see all the specifics of it. But yeah, this is a 5000 milliamp hour battery. It comes with a little micro USB cable, as we'd love to hear from you, and then the user manual. And here in the user manual it actually says the green smiley face says that it's between 50 and 100% power, yellow is between 20 and 50, and red is less than 20% charge. So you do have a little bit of indication as to what those mean. I'd like to have a little more range, but with the smiley face there's only so many things you can do, I would assume. But yeah, let me just go ahead and tear this apart. We'll get this open and you can take a look at it. So there you go. That is the battery. Here on the back it does say power bank 5000 milliamps, inputs 1 amp 5 volt, output it has 2 ports. One is a 1 amp, one is 2.1 amps. So there they are, and you've got 2 different colors to indicate which one is which. And then here on the front, I guess we just hit the button. Yeah, there's our smiley face. Now from what I understand, tapping the button just lets you know what the charge level is, and then if you hold the button, it's it's not exactly capacitive, it has a little bit, well, maybe it doesn't have any movement to it. But yeah, you're supposed to hold it a little bit to actually get it to come on and start charging. Alright, and just for a little bit of fun, I went ahead and brought my 1+1 out. I thought I'd take this new little USB charger adapter I bought and test out how this actually charges. So we'll plug it into the USB 1 port. I have to give it a little power. There you go. It does come on, and I have to cover this a little bit to block the light from the little LEDs, but it says 4.82 volts and 0.56 amps coming out of the 1 volt port, the 1 amp port, excuse me. So 0.56, I guess I kind of figured it'd be a little higher than that. So we'll switch it over to the USB 2.1 amp port, and we'll see how that one looks. That's really odd. Maybe it's the device, maybe it's the 1+1. So just to keep testing things, we'll try... Oh, this is a really low one. Alright, trying it with the Droid Turbo. Still at 4.6 volts, 1.38 amps. So I'm guessing it has to do with the actual other device I was using not putting out, or not needing enough power. Now it's kind of fun here. This is supposed to be the 1 amp port, and it says via this little charger adapter that it's doing 1.4 amps. We'll try it in the other port, and this one shows 1.4 amps as well. So while both the ports are supposed to be different amperages, they both appear to be putting out the same amount of amperage, or allowing the device to pull. I'm not an electrical engineer, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but the number here is not 2.1. Of course it's not going to be because the device is not requesting that much, but at the same time both the ports seem to be allowing the same amount of charge to pass through them. And for the sake of argument, I'll go ahead and try to confirm the same thing with the Legion meter. Used this device quite a bit in the past, so just to make sure. Yeah, 1.4. I do like having 2 different devices to compare and contrast with now because I can more easily see what's accurate and what's not. I mean, technically they could both be inaccurate, I suppose, but to be exactly the same, yeah, 1.4 swapped. That's interesting. Oh, that's probably where the device just turned itself on. It says 1.2 now. But anyway, they do both appear to be roughly on the same base. And for just another little point of comparison, we'll try the Shield tablet, see how it works out. I'm just looking for things that take a high amount of charge to see how they compare, how they stack up. There you go. That's a little bit interesting that if you have this away for more than a few seconds, it actually turns off. I've had other devices where if you plug it in and it detects a device on the other end, it will just immediately start charging. This one you have to actually hold that little button down for just a second. But then I can also tap it again and it shows me I've still got lots of good charge in it. It says 1.2 amps to this device. And this other port, we'll go ahead and swap it over. And it's saying 1.33. So they are both still allowing about the same amount of current to go through them, 1.5 amps or so. I don't really have that many devices that take much more than that. Usually the OnePlus One will take about 1.6 or 1.8 amps. But still, this device seems to be getting the job done, and it really doesn't seem to matter which port you use. I would assume as long as you don't use both of them at the same time. Let me try that. So now, in case you can't really see it, I've got two devices plugged in and charging. One says 1.13 amps, the other one says 0.9. So they have both adjusted down just a little bit to compensate. I guess between the two you would expect that it would put out about 3 amps total, or allow 3 amps to pass through it, and right now it's putting out a little over 2 total. So yeah, it's still getting the job done. Both of them are charging at the same time, and this little thing, still green, still happy. Ooh, that's interesting. Right as I touched it, it went to frowny face, which means that it just passed below the 50% mark, or it's taking so much power out of it all at one point that it's going to go down pretty quick. But anyway, I'm going to be using this for a little while. We'll just try it out. For the size of battery it is, like I said, it's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It's a little bit large. I don't know if this is exactly something I'd want to carry around with me all the time, because when you put it up next to a device, you know, it's not quite as tall as a device, and this being the Droid Turbo is a little bit small in the hand, so this is not huge. But we'll look at the thickness on it. That's a very, very thick little battery for it being 5,000 milliamp hours, especially when you consider this older battery, while it is quite significantly larger, this one's 7,200 and this one's 5,000. So you would expect this to be bigger, but the thickness, it's actually about the same, and this one has solar charging circuits built into it. And just comparing to some other batteries so you can get sort of a feel for the size, this feels like about the size of an older iPhone, but a little bit thicker, quite a bit thicker. This is an Anker 6,000 milliamp hour battery that I used for a while, until unfortunately it died recently. But yeah, 6,000, it's a little bit thicker in the middle, but it's significantly smaller in terms of the footprint. Now I know this does have to have some extra circuits in it to make that little smiley face. Interesting, it's now back to a smiley face. I'm guessing, like I said, that it was not real happy having both devices plugged in and charging, so it probably freaked out a little over that. Yeah, it's back down to frowny face, so it's got to be somewhere in the 50% range, such that it's pulling an awful lot of power out right now to deal with both of these devices at once. So it's just saying, you know, I'm gonna discharge very, very quickly, so feel free to unplug one of them. Please save me. Anyway, so yeah, if you guys have any questions about this thing, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Once again, thanks to Poweradd for sending this out. Glossy, glossy, gonna draw a lot of fingerprints if you can't see that already. Lots and lots of fingerprints on it. After just touching it a few times, it gets the frowny face for fingerprints. But I don't normally go around showing off batteries and saying, see if it has fingerprints on it. They normally stay in a pocket, so it is nice to be able to see at a glance, I'm happy, I have lots of battery, or I'm frowny, I don't have quite so much, or I'm just a couple of red eyes. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I can't do that, Dave. Anyway, just having some fun with this. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. I just thought it was a cute, fun little product. If you're interested in it, I'll have a link down in the video description. But anyway, that's going to be about all from me and from this little guy for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.